Welcome back, guys. New School Sensei. I'm your host, Lance Douglas. We've got Ken Douglas in the house and very, very special guest, Ninos Damo, the head of the Australian elite team. We have the most successful jiu-jitsu team in Australia. He's come ready. He's had a perfect morning, good start. He's ready to tell a lot of stories. So awesome to have you, Ninos.
Thank you.
Boom. Now, as a team, we've had the UFC.
Yep.
And we had 3 of our athletes jump into it. We had a good weekend. Ken, do you want to run us through just some of the results?
So Jono got a decision.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know the guy's name, to be honest. So sorry.
Jono Mika.
No. I don't know Jono's name, but the guy he versed.
Did you say?
Yeah. Cool name. Okay. Yeah, to be honest, the only thing I remember from that fight is that head kick Jono did.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I remember.
Yeah.
But it went 3 rounds, didn't it?
It did, yeah.
And then we had Jake Matthews. He versed... Sorry, I don't even know what the guys...
It doesn't matter. Jake won all 3 rounds as well. And then we had Jimmy Crute.
He had a draw versus some big Brazilian. Was he Brazilian?
I'm missing checks with Jimmy's. He's from Pereira's team.
Must be a Brazilian.
He was good. He was pretty good, but it was a draw.
Yeah.
So I think Jimmy won the fight, but...
Yeah, of course, yeah. So out of 3 fights, we had 2 wins and 1 draw.
That's right.
So you must be pretty happy about that.
Very happy.
Yeah?
Very happy.
So the way we wanted to do it was we wanted to start off from the start. So how did the camps go? And like, how long were the camps? You want to talk to me about that?
Yeah, so our guys always train hard. If you come to the MMA classes, they're always pushing hard. Like, it almost looks like they're in camp all the time, but maybe about 3 months out, they start to really put their head down, get their diets right, strength conditioning increases. So they do their strength and conditioning, most of them with Vince and the elite guys, who are amazing.
It's like...
No, not
Vince Verasano.
Oh, Vince Verasano. No.
Yeah, that's why I haven't seen him.
Only conditioning he does is his mouth when he's talking shit. But, if you look up the elite guys in Kilo, all strength conditioning, they're amazing. It was the best I've ever seen. So most of our guys go there and work with them. And then we do, obviously, the grappling here, the MMA with Greco. Jono does his training out of Combat One, which is one of our affiliates as well. But he does a lot of his grappling out of the AET as well. So we cross-train together. We're affiliates. And it was good, man. Like, everybody had their little niggling injuries, had their moments where they sort of had a dump emotionally. And that's part of it. You sort of got to be there, and you've got to sort of lift them up enough when they're feeling down, but also when they're getting a bit overconfident, you've got to remind them not to be, because overconfidence can be a negative in a fight, you know? They all trained well. I think the last couple of weeks, Jake really sharpened his grappling.
Yep.
I just saw it tune up and level up. But we had game plans, and the game plans came out perfectly. Like, with Jake, we knew that his opponent would be hard to knock out. And we didn't want to grapple with him. We wanted to stand up and strike.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we didn't want to grapple with him because he's just like a short, nuggety, strong-looking guy. So we just thought, Jake's got longer reach, we'll just pick him apart, which is what we did. Jono did amazing. It was his debut, and he just dominated. And Kevin Jousset is an animal. Like, he's a good fighter. And Jono looked amazing. And Jimmy, if you watched the fight, round 1, man, he looked unreal. Knocked him to the ground, dominated on the ground. The guy, I think Jimmy won 2 out of 3 rounds. But like, he had a tough opponent. It was a good fight, but it went well. I was very happy with the results. Walked away with a big smile on my face.
Oh, very good.
Mm.
And are the boys all? I can imagine Jimmy probably had to go to hospital after the fight.
Yeah, Jimmy had to go to hospital. Jake's leg was banged up, but that was about it. His face was fine. Jono was fine. A couple of bruises here and there, but nothing too serious. He went to the hospital, Jono, just for a checkup. But yeah, no, they're all good. Jimmy came to training. He fought on, was it Saturday? I can't even remember. Was it Saturday? Sunday?
Sunday, yeah.
He was back at the gym on Wednesday, hitting the bag, and he was happy, which is good. You know, he came in with good energy. He was really happy to like have fought and be back into that scene again, because he was out for a while. Jake was here last night. Jono, I haven't seen yet. He shot me a message, but I think this week he should be back. But no, it's all good.
How many weeks has it been, just for the people that are watching, listening? It's been what,
2 weeks? 2
weeks?
weeks. Yeah, that's right.
No, that's super cool. And then, so if you want to talk about the fight, the actual, like the fight week, because that'd be very interesting,
Yeah.
especially here behind the scenes and what it's like having 3 UFC fighters.
Yeah. I don't go down the week that they travel. So as most people know, I have a very disabled son, and he's my number one priority. I made that clear to all the UFC fighters. He comes first. Everything else comes second to me. So I have to be with him most nights because he has seizures, and I can't travel with him. If they go overseas, I don't go at all. If they're interstate or they're like close overseas, like New Zealand, I'll go. But anything else, I won't go. So I didn't go with them at the start of the week. I was in contact over the phone, but didn't go with them. They go down. Greco went down with them, Sam Greco, and a bunch of other guys went down, and they just sort of like do light pad work, light rolls, eat, go for walks, get adjusted to the climate over there and all that. I rocked up the morning before the fight at about 10 a.m. So got to
Saturday?
Saturday, yeah.
Yep.
Walked into the hotel. There was about 30 of our guys all sitting around a table, playing cards, eating. That was good. We kicked back. I went and got something to eat. So you find with the fighters, like the day before the fight, they'll do things like go, I want to go for a walk. That's it. Just want to go for a walk. And you let them go and have this space and breathe. Well, I want to go sit in my hotel room for a bit. It's just their way of mentally preparing. So we did that for a few hours. And then, you want me to just tell you about the day?
Yeah. Oh, I'm keen to hear it.
Yeah. And then it was a hard morning, so I'm trying to get my mind together. Yeah, had a drama. But so we came back to the hotel, organized dinner plans, went to the training room of the hotel, and they all hit pads and did a bit of grappling, and we just gave them our last little pointers. And you never give big information the day before the fight ever, because they're not going to retain it. You just encourage and look little things they can fix, and then they went and had another little rest. Then we went for dinner. So we rock up to dinner. We order 3 big tables, and there's about 40 of us. All of Jono's guys, Jake's guys, Jimmy's guys, friends, family.
Massive entourage.
Massive entourage. And we look over to the right, and Jake's opponent's sitting a couple of meters away from us with 4 of his guys. So it was a bit awkward, you know, like made eye contact a few times, gave him a little smile, and it was awkward, you know, everyone's tense, but it was all right, nothing bad. And then after that, all the fighters went to rest. A lot of the entourage went to a bar, and I went to Gold Class Cinemas.
Hey.
That's how I relaxed. I don't like bars and all that. Went to the cinemas with Vince, kicked back, went back to the hotel room.
And Vince was there. Is he one of the coaches for the boys, or?
No, he just comes to he's a bit of a groupie. Follows him around. No, he just comes to support. And yeah, after that, went to the hotel. My back's been a bit bad, so it took me a few hours to get into a position that I was comfortable in. Slept, got up the next morning, and we were ready for war. Went for it. Yeah.
How did the weigh-ins go? Because that
No
the day before, yeah?
Yeah, no problem. No one.
Boys didn't have to cut huge amounts?
They cut a good amount, but it wasn't like they just went in there and got it done. There wasn't any issue with their health. There wasn't any issue with, we can't make it. They're professionals. Jono's first time in the UFC, he's going to die before he doesn't make weight. You know, he's worked so hard to get there. And I'm so happy for him. He's such a good man. And Jake and Jimmy are veterans, you know. They've been around for a long time. They just get the job done. Doesn't matter if it hurts. Everything in life hurts. If that stops you from moving forward, you're not going to get far. You just put your head down and say, this is what I have to do. And you do it regardless of how hard it is. And that's how you succeed.
It's like the first fight, yeah? Actually making weight.
Yeah, man. Exactly right. It's exactly.
Now, Jono, he makes 77, yeah?
He's huge.
So, like, he'd be walking around, but how much is he walking?
I reckon 91.
Yeah. Jase, what's he walking around? Because he makes...
No, much less. Probably 83, 84.
Really?
Yeah, maybe 85 at the most. Yeah. Yeah, but Jono's much bigger than Jake. He's a big man. You don't realise till you stand next to him and you go, man, he's a big boy. And Jimmy's obviously very thick and big as well.
What's the weight that he's, because light heavyweight, what's the kilos?
Jimmy...
Because I know in pounds it's 205.
Yeah, I think it's 94. But I think Jimmy, when he's just chilling and he walks around at about 103, 104, sometimes 105.
Yep.
He walks around big. But he'll start cutting weight like a couple of months before the fight. He won't leave it for the last week, you know what I mean? He'll just start eating clean and his body naturally just starts cutting weight.
Perfect. I like that.
Yeah.
That sounds like pretty smooth sort of fight week, at least for the boys.
Yeah, look, a lot of people think it's like exciting and we're having cocktails with freaking the Kardashians. It's not like that. You just put your head down and you get the job done. It's a job. And because you're focused on the job, you don't really enjoy it until the job's done. Does that make sense? And you're there for the fighter. We're constantly saying things like, hey, if you need anything at all, call. If you want to go for a walk at 10 p.m., just call. We'll come and go. Like, whatever you need, we're here for you. That's what you're there for. You're there to support the fighter.
I like it. Sean Strickland was on the card. Did you have any run-ins with him or any chats with him?
No. So what happens to the UFC? What happens to the UFC now? I don't know why. It might have been what happened with Khabib and McGregor, but they don't let you stay at the back. You do your fight, you immediately get taken to a limo or a car, whatever, and it gets taken back to the hotel room. So you can't. Yeah, you can't. So Jono Mika waited for us. He was all banged up, and we walked in and gave us a big hug. Then he was gone. Jake had his fight, got checked by medical. We did a quick interview. To the car, straight to the hotel. I couldn't even stay for Jimmy. I had to go straight to the hotel. Yeah, they don't let you stay. It used to be that all the fighters could hang out at the back and no more. And I think it might have been because of what happened there, or something must have happened in the back that caused the UFC to say no more people.
It must be a smart idea. You can't have any
fighters, hot-headed.
Something's going to happen.
Of course, yeah.
Oh, perfect.
There was actually. I'm not going to mention who because he's well known. There was actually a coach of a well-known fighter that fought. That for some reason kept like looking at Tommy Gunn like he wanted to kill him. Yeah, really, like it was odd. Like even Jake's manager Mo was like, "Man, look at the way he's just stared at him like he wants to eat him alive every time he saw him." And then I saw him and he looked at me the same way, and I walked over and smiled and go, "How are you going?" I go, "Your fight is amazing. You're an amazing coach." Blah blah blah. And then he was friendly after about a minute. He just cheered up and got friendly. So I think it's just the adrenaline. They're getting ready. It is. It's hard. You're getting ready for a fight. Like when I'm walking out with Jake or Jimmy, you almost feel like you're fighting. There's adrenaline, and you're so invested in these fighters. You're with them emotionally. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So yes. So let's just talk about each fight now, I guess. So we got Jono. His fight went. He won what, 2 out of the 3 rounds?
Dominated. He dominated 2 out of the 3 rounds.
Yeah. And he threw that head kick early as well. That sort of dropped the guy. That was pretty good. Yeah. But your involvement, you were mainly in the back. You had other guys coaching.
Yeah, so while Jono was fighting, we were warming up Jake, and Jimmy was getting warmed up as well. So I was sort of looking at the TV, looking back at it was like I couldn't really focus on it because I'm focusing on Jake, who's about to walk out after that. But look, Jono, he's got that special thing as a fighter. And not everyone has it. He's got it. And I said that to him 2 years ago. And his head coach, Sam Haywood, is amazing. Very intelligent coach. Knows how to put a game plan together depending on who the fighter is. Jono hits like a mule, man. He kicks the bag and it's like echoes really hard. We knew that if he landed a kick, just say he would be in trouble. We knew. And his grappling is amazing. He's very scrambly, very technical. He's very dangerous off his back. His last Hex fight, he won by triangle choke, if you remember. He's unreal. I don't think he's just going to win this fight. I think Jono will go very far. That's my opinion. And
young, yeah?
Yeah, man. He's still in his 20s. He's still young. But for anyone that doesn't know him, he's a good man. He's a genuinely nice, kind, gentle human being that turns into a savage when you put him in the cage. That's what he is. You know what I mean? They're all like that. Now, even Jake. Nice, humble, quiet, so respectful. Tell you a funny story. So
let's do it.
So my wife met Jake, right? He was clean shaven and clean haircut. Then years later we had COVID, and she hadn't seen him for years. And Jake rocked up to my house when I wasn't home with a massive hamper just to say, "Hope you're doing well." Knocks on the door and gives it to my wife. And my wife doesn't recognize who he is. She's like, "Can I help you?" And he goes, "Oh, this is for Ninos." She goes, "Who are you?" He goes, I'm his student. Anyway, so she calls me up. She goes, "Well, this weird-looking guy came to the house, and I was a bit rude to him because I didn't realize who he was." It was Jake Matthews, the UFC fighter. She goes, "No, it wasn't. He had a beard." I go, "Yeah, men can grow beards. It's a thing." You know, it's so awkward. I had to call him up and apologize. But they do those things, man. Look, Jake dropping off a hamper. I walked into the gym and seen Jake stacking up water bottles in the fridge. This is a UFC veteran. You know what I mean? And that for me is the most important. I would, and I hope people hear this because I say it from my heart, I would turn away UFC fighters that had bad attitudes, that were arrogant, proud pricks. I wouldn't put up with it. Nice, good people, you can turn into a good fighter much easier than you can turn a good fighter into a good person. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that. Yeah. Let's just chat about Jake's fight. That was actually because I found with Jono's fight, it was actually really hard to actually watch it because you needed fight pass.
Yeah.
So I actually haven't seen it. I've just seen that head kick. That's it.
Yeah.
But I was able to watch Jake's fight.
Yeah.
And it seemed like he was just on a mission.
Yeah.
He just
Seems like I've been coming out angry the last couple of fights.
like
just
he
trying to
was
bash a guy.
just on a mission with. He just kept coming forward.
Yeah.
It was a bit different because from his last few fights that I've seen anyway, he had a bit more movement in and out
Yeah.
sort of style. But this one, he was just like a raging bull.
Yeah, because the reality is UFC is for entertainment. And if you're not entertaining the fans, it doesn't matter how many times you win, they don't want to see it. So, of course, the goal is to go out there and knock the guy out or submit the guy. That's the goal, to finish. And the reality is, like, this guy's never been knocked out. He's good. Look, we knew it would be very hard to knock him out.
Jake tried.
He tried. And he hit him hard. The guy's coach said to us, he goes, man, Jake was amazing. He should have a run for the top 10. And he had a lot to say after the fight about, you know, how Jake felt and all that, which is good. But people, like, Jake's always been a good striker. You know, and people sort of change the way they fight when they fight Jake. This guy wasn't trying to swing toe-to-toe. This guy tried to wrestle him over and over and over again. But every other fight this guy has, he tries to knock you out. So the only thing that we sort of really focused on with the grappling was, and Jake mentioned it in the car on the way back to the hotel, he said he did exactly what you said. I said, if he gets you to the ground, he's not going to jiu-jitsu you. He's going to posture and start raining blows. And I said, try and get his head, use a guillotine sweep, or otherwise underhook and get back to your feet. He did exactly that. Guy couldn't land a punch. And then Jake just went to town on him, on his body, face. Prado was it Prado? I'm mixing the names up.
No,
He was busted up. If you saw him after the fight, he was really busted up. His head, his face, his body. And Jake just had bruising on his leg. That was it.
Was it from those calf kicks?
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, maybe I shouldn't say this, but what actually happened was one of the calf kicks sort of, it stunned Jake a little bit. It took him a few seconds to compose and come back in.
Yeah.
They were hard kicks. They were good, but there was no damage to Jake's face. Nothing. Not even a scratch. Nothing to his body. Every time they traded, Jake was just landing and landing and landing. And there was one time where I was in the corner, I was watching, Jake landed, and the guy's eyes rolled back for a second. I thought he knocked him out, and then he sort of just came to. It's amazing how much punishment these guys take. Full on. Like, even the punch Jimmy landed on his opponent, knocked him to the ground. The guy was out. Somehow recovers, and even, you know, Jack Jenkins, did you see that fight?
I didn't see it, no.
Man, he kicked the guy in the head. I thought he almost killed him, knocked him. The guy was almost out, and somehow the guy came back and got a choke or something. And yeah, so they're very resilient. But Jake killed it. Did really good all 3 rounds.
Oh, that's awesome. And then Jimmy, his match went the distance. That first round, I thought he had that guy
All over him.
Yeah.
Around.
Yeah, you guys have rolled Jimmy, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. Jimmy's one of the best grapplers at our team. Just straight grappling. Unreal. Like, I went for a sweep on Jimmy once. We always joke about it. I think I would have ripped a tree out of the ground with the sweep. And he just leaned to the side a bit and he came back in front of me. And in my mind, I'm like, this is going to be a hard roll. Like, he's just feeling good. Heavy hips, good base. Jimmy can make you want to tap just with position and without even putting pressure. He just knows how to use his body weight. So, yeah, first round, I think it was 10-8 first round.
100%.
He destroyed him, like, absolutely destroyed him. And then the guy's tough, man. Like, he trains with Alex Pereira, you know. He came back and he was
huge too.
He was a big guy.
He was huge.
Big guy. But look, nice guy, respectful guy. He did good too. A draw's a draw. We'll train hard and come back. Jimmy messaged me last Thursday. He's like, I want to really level up my grappling. I think if Jimmy just, you know, really zones in on his grappling, I think he's the best grappler out of his entire division. The best. I can't see anybody like being better than him. He's amazing when you roll him. So he's just got to get people to the ground, bash him and submit him, and I reckon he can do it to anyone on his day.
Was that fighter than height? Did any of the boys get any bonuses? I didn't really check anything.
No.
Do you know how that works at all? Or is it, those days gone? I remember like hearing back in the day, Dana White would be writing checks in the back. Or is that's done more professional now?
More professional now. Yeah, I'm not sure how it works, but I'm pretty sure our boys didn't get any bonuses.
Man, because Jimmy's fight, that was a war.
It was awesome.
But he seems to be getting into a few wars. Like,
Yeah.
it must be taking a few years off his life every fight, I feel like.
Well, we don't want that. Do you know what I mean? Like, Greco's spoken to him about it a few times. Greco was in the back going, don't pull your tongue out. Don't, because when Jimmy gets hit and he gets pissed off, he'll stick his tongue out like what? I'm not her type thing, But we want the fighters, like, when these guys are like retired from fighting, they're going to still be our brothers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And actually, for me, their safety, their happiness, their mental health, it's more important than all that. So what's the point if you become famous and then you suffer the rest of your life? There's no point. We all just want to live in peace and be happy and take care of our families. So yeah, of course, the goal is to avoid that, and that we're going to keep working towards less damage for our guy and more damage to the opponent.
Always.
Yeah, that's right.
I like it. Lance, you got any questions?
Yeah, so I remember Jake Matthews coming up like 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't had much to do with Jono or Jimmy, but like seeing them come up, over the years. And then we've got our new batch coming through. You got guys like Muhammad Bakai, you got Louis, you got a lot of young guns, Dylan, Connor.
Yeah.
Obviously, they've got a lot of talent. What do they need to do to get to UFC from your perspective?
Just keep going. You want me to name some of the fighters that I think will make it to the UFC?
Yeah, there's so many that are at the amateur level.
All right, so we've got young Ryan Braith. I think will make it to the UFC. He just turned 18. He spars UFC guys. He's tough. He's grappling. He's a blue belt that won the black belt division at Grappling Industries. Think about that. As a blue belt, he's undefeated at Fusion, undefeated in kickboxing, had one or two amateur MMA fights.
Ryan's a younger guy, yeah?
Younger, but he's just an animal. Like, I put him against our brown belts that win pan packs, and he sometimes beats them in front of me. And he's mentally strong, and they're doing everything right. They're doing all the right cardio, strength training, but the thing is with him and his brothers, they're mentally strong. Do you know what I mean? And that's hard to beat because these guys that go in, they're willing to die before they give up, and they have that. So I think out of all the brothers, Ryan will make it to the UFC. We've got Zach Blythe.
Yep.
Unreal. Tough grappler, hits like a horse. He's probably going to be he's looking to fight for the title at Hex, path to Hex. Then obviously you've got the guys that are closer to the UFC. I think Kit will make it to the UFC. He just won the title at Hex. I think Big Ricky, will make it to the UFC. He's on fire, technically sound. His grappling's quadrupled in the last couple of months. Connor, I think Connor's special. I was working with him yesterday. He's fighting in 2 weeks. I think he's going to do great, and he could make it to the UFC as well.
Is he pro yet or still amateur?
Still amateur,
yep.
But some of the amateurs are better than the pro. Have you seen some of these amateurs? I'm not even talking about my boys. The amateurs are.
How about Cage?
Yeah, man, I reckon they'll make it too. I really believe they'll make it too. I could go through all these different names, but there's so many, and we've got all these young, hungry guys like Ferdi, Sahib. All these guys could make it. They're going to get upset. Whoever I didn't, mention. Young Mikhail, he's going to do very well. He's very, very tough.
How about someone like a Tommy Gunn? Do you want to see him back in there? I'd love to see him in the UFC.
Look, I think Tommy Gunn's more suited for grappling. Animal MMA fighter, but he shines in his grappling, and he's been spending so much time with his grappling. And I want to see Tommy Gunn. What I want to see is his grappling go through the roof and make a big name for himself through grappling. But if he wanted to do MMA, of course I'd support. He's an animal. He's got a big fight. He's fighting Daniel Schuart on Friday.
That is fun.
Really?
Yeah. Wow. Daniel's very good. Yeah, and
it's a bit bigger, yeah?
A bit bigger too, yeah. Yeah, so Tommy's eating a lot of...
He doesn't mind fighting bigger guys, Tommy.
He'll fight anyone. Yeah.
Very confident, I like.
Doesn't fight anyone anytime. Yeah, no. It's going to be a good fight, but...
That's the mindset of a fighter. You have to be so confident, yeah?
Yeah.
There can't be any doubts.
No. You have to... Go it. Like, you sort of almost have to look at your opponent and think to yourself, how dare you step in front of me? You just believe so much that you're going to just destroy your opponent. But at the same time, it's weird. Like, just be mindful of what they can do as well. Have a balance, but you have to be supremely confident, I think. You can feel it when I'm not an MMA fighter, I'm a grappler, but you can feel it when you grapple someone. I can feel the moment they grab me, whether they actually believe they can beat me or not.
Yep.
And if they don't believe they can beat me, you've already lost because you've already conceded in your own heart that you're going to lose. So it's only a matter of time. But I can feel, even with a white belt, when I grab them and they really want to beat me, like, oh, this guy's going to do my head in a bit, because I can feel he really wants to win. He's not going to, but he really wants to, But it's a harder match. Yeah.
I like it. So how does a club have 3 guys fighting on the biggest stage? Like
How does that happen?
how does it happen?
And you got like 20 guys raring to go.
Especially because here we've won Pampaks 10 times. Usually a sports BJJ club doesn't have MMA fighters. They don't have UFC fighters. Has them, and here we've got 3, which is amazing.
Yeah.
And it seems like there's more in the pipeline coming.
Yeah. I've got a big appetite. And I do. And, I've lost 20 kilos in the past 8 months. I'm in good shape again, which is good. But I have a big appetite. And I have a big appetite for food. And I also have a big appetite for winning. Since I was a kid, my parents used to say, man, he can't even, like, if my parents bet me in a board game, I'd cry and walk out of the room. And, I always wanted to win. I actually never feel like, look at what I've achieved. I'm so satisfied. I always just want to continue succeeding and winning and pushing. And that's my mentality. And I don't choose it. That's just how I am. I'm wired. Number 1. Number 2, culture. We gain fighters, we lose fighters. There's going to be UFC fighters that come to us, and sometimes they're going to leave. But we always try to create a culture where they actually love what they're fighting for. Make sense? Look, my dad got up every morning and went to a job that he didn't like. It was hard. He worked in a factory, and I didn't realize why he did it. I used to think, why is he doing that for? Look, I'd never do that until I had kids.
Mm-hmm.
When I had kids, I loved them so much, I would be willing to, do underground street fights if I had to feed my kids. I didn't care. I think when you love what you're fighting for, you go much further than if you don't. If the gym is just a place where you pay your money and you come in and have a training session and go home, it's different to you're walking out and everyone there's behind you, loves you love them, you love what it stands for. You know that the gym's open to anyone that's got depression, anxiety, if you're broke. I mean, this isn't me at all. This is my students. The AET has supported people through chemo bills, through grocery shopping for like 2 years when they had no job, paid for their anniversary once when they couldn't. Look, the AET is a big support to the people that come here. Kit Campbell actually is about to start something really cool I want to mention as well. He's going to do a seminar for people that suffer depression and anxiety, and all the money raised will go to his friend's wife. His friend took his life recently, so it's sort of hits close to home for Kit. And if that goes well, he wants to start a regular, like weekly basis, just only open for people that have mental health issues to come in, train, sweat together, once a month, go get a pizza, get a coffee, and just connect. And I said to him last night, I go, what do you want out of it? He goes, I can over all the time save a life or whatever. I'm very happy. He's a good man, Kit. So yeah, I think when you have those kinds of things at your gym, and it's not a marketing tool, you're not like, I'll do this so that my students stay. You actually love your students and care about them, and the team loves you. You're going to fight harder and you're going to push harder because you're fighting for something that means more. You know what I mean? Other reasons are, like, if you look at probably one of the top 3 grapplers in the AET, it's Thomas Messo. Unbelievable grappler. Fighting on Friday at Fusion, and I'll say it now, he's going to kill it. He's so special, yeah?
He goes under the radar, I'd say. I haven't heard his name for a long time, actually, but he's always been here.
He's such a quiet, humble kid, right? But Thomas Messo wasn't good when he came in at all. I think what a lot of coaches, not a lot, but some coaches do, is they see someone who's good, they invest in them and not in others. But I think the coach should invest in the person that is worthy of the investment by their attitude. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
If you have a UFC fighter in front of you that can't be bothered, has a bad attitude, doesn't listen, and then you have a young kid off the street who, this is important to him, put some effort into the kid. Don't just ignore him and put him at the back. When you do that, someone like Thomas Messo came up, and like Michael Tomei, man, I used to David Yunan drive these kids home from training and buy them food when they were little. How do you not want them to push hard? They feel like they love it so much, they become, in a way, like my dad, who goes and does something that's hard, but does it because of the people that he loves. Do you know what I mean? Michael Tomei always says, Vince says it, They go, man, we like jiu-jitsu, it's okay, but we love AT. That's why we do it. We love the AT. We want to see it thrive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it must, it must be hard to sort of juggle everything. Like you've got your people off the street coming in, hobbyists, then you've got guys who do competition, jiu-jitsu, gi, no gi, then you got the MMA fighters, like you got amateur, pro. How do you juggle it all in, like timetabling and like just running it? It's quite impressive.
Not last night, the night before, I got 3 hours and 45 minutes sleep, which is bad for me. Last night I got 5 hours. It's busy in an unenjoyable way sometimes because on top of all the MMA fighters and this massive jiu-jitsu program and the business in general, and then I have all these affiliates that require support. They reach out. Some, like you guys are killing it. You don't require as much support. Other gyms are struggling. They constantly need support. So I try and support. And then I have my family. I have a wife that I love. I have 4 beautiful kids. And I have a 16-year-old son who still wears a diaper and can't talk. And so when I'm home, never, and I mean never, my family knows this, will I go and watch TV or, just go hang out with friends or whatever while he's awake. He's my 100%. Like, I want to be around him, make sure that he's watching something that he likes, make sure he's eating good, make sure that he's going for a walk or, whatever. That's more. And once he goes to bed and he's sleeping, then I'll spend an hour with my wife or watch a bit of TV. And then I go to my room and then I have lots of messages that I respond to at night, but not send. So just leave them in draft. And then the next morning I'll wake up and just go send and get on with my day. But it's extremely busy, boys. And I think some people say that, but they don't, I don't know, like it's a different level of busy. I said to my wife, and I'm not talking about the gym. I mean, life is so busy. It's a bit too much, I think, I'm trying to find ways to balance it, but it's hectic. I was even late to your podcast today. You know what I mean? Yeah.
That's all right. Because obviously the classes here, like, I don't come at night, but apparently a nighttime class absolutely boom.
130 a class, sometimes 140, 150 a class. And lucky that, in one class we'll have 15 black belts because I can't do it on my own. So I'll say something and all the black belts and even the brown belts will go, line up and get on the wall, and they're such good supports. But yeah, we're able to run it smoothly. So we've got Vince Verasano, little black belt. He runs a beginners program on Wednesday and Thursday nights while I teach. So he'll take 20 or 30 of the guys that have trained under 3 to 6 months to the side of the mat and work with them on simple technique, and I'll teach all the other guys. But yeah, no, it gets very busy, man, very busy.
Especially if you've got you've got multiple classes on the same mat.
Yeah.
Like the MMA guys are trained the same time as the jiu-jitsu guys sometimes.
Yeah.
And the kickboxing and all that.
Yeah, it's packed. Like on a Wednesday night, it's like we're literally back to back. It's chockers, which is why,
Every problem to have.
good problem.
It's a good problem.
Good problem. But we're actually thinking of ways to expand yet again. Maybe another venue, maybe rent the place next door if they give us the chance and knock the wall down and open up. But we need more room. We've run out of room here.
The Ashley Martin place.
Yeah. We suggested it to the computer guys next door. They're like, nah. I'm like, all right, we'll try again in 6 months. There we go. Yeah.
That's actually unbelievable because if the people don't know, the mat space here is literally, don't know of any other gym that's got more mats, like massive. And to need more mats is crazy.
Yeah. This is a 1,500 square gym. Massive. But yeah, when you get 130 guys on the mats and then you've got 50 boxers boxing on the side, then you've got all the MMA guys doing their thing, and it's very hard, man. Like just today alone, I'll teach 4 jiu-jitsu classes today. Plus there's that many. Tommy Gunn will teach an MMA class tonight, and there's I can't even remember. There's boxing tonight, and there's kickboxing, and there's just so much going on. We've got, I don't know, we must have like over 20 coaches here now, full time.
It's incredible. It's really inspiring to see, especially from where you guys have come from.
Yeah.
Then to having this humongous facility, timetables packed, plenty of members, which is all good.
Yeah.
It's very inspiring to see.
Thanks.
And also, like, for the people that the fit out here, it's not just some crummy, they got the old sort of jigsaw mats or not the glass factory. This is like one of the best fit outs I've ever seen as well, to be honest. It's not just a lot of mats. The fit out is amazing.
We went all out. Yeah, we spent a lot of money on the fit out. and the mats and the cage and the ring and the cafe and the couches, the TV, everything. We just got the best of whatever we could get. We didn't budget for
It
anything.
was worth it, yeah?
It was worth it. Yeah, we love it. You walk in here, it's just nice. People come in here on their lunch breaks when they're not training just to have a coffee and work on their laptop or whatever. It's just a nice place to be. It's clean. Every morning we get the entire place completely disinfected. Everything. The floors, the walls, the bathrooms. It's a nice, clean, fresh place. Beautiful.
Something you need, it has to be clean, especially with our sport, with all the staff on around.
No, we're very
Like, that's
Some clubs, won't name any names, but some clubs, they're losing a lot of students just from staff.
We signed up, I'm not going to mention names because I never want to put a club down or whatever. We signed up a guy from another gym recently, and he was saying that his gym had, I think, about 40 guys leave because of staff. Have you heard that?
Yeah, I've heard the same story.
Yeah.
Probably the same.
Man, if that was me, and I'm not being negative, I would be like really trying to figure out what the problem is. If I maybe get some windows in there or...
Here, we've got the sunlight and we've got windows, we've got airflow. I think if you
got
got
professional cleaners too. Like, we saw the guy just before. He's a good worker. Like,
He's good.
come off and legit.
Yeah, he does it. He does a good job. But look, what I'm saying is that when you have an issue in your gym and it's continuing and it's costing members and it's you need to evaluate what's going on. And it might not be the staff issue. It could be people are leaving because of the culture. People are leaving because the time doesn't work. Whatever it is, you're offering a service to people. Sometimes coaches forget that. You're not the king. You're there to serve the students. Does that make sense? And if it's not working, evaluate. Sit down and think about why it's not working. Talk to other people. Talk to your students. See what they say and fix the problem. And that has to be ongoing in everything in life. You guys are both married, right?
Yep.
You think that you're not going to have periods in your marriage where you sit down and say, hey, I'm not happy with this. And she'll say, I'm not happy with this. That's normal. If you don't change, if you don't evolve, you're going to have dramas, man.
That's it.
That's it, man. That's part of life.
Good source for AD growing
That's it.
large.
That's it. Yeah.
Before we wrap up, so we know we got the class on after this. I'd like to know, so what's the future for the jiu-jitsu program? Because obviously, with Smash Pan Packs, 10, 11 years in a row. Where's it all headed? Because obviously we've got the MMA program that's killing it. You've got 3 UFC fighters, 20 young guns raring to go, and then obviously we've still got this huge jiu-jitsu team. What's the future looking like?
Yeah. So 3 things. Number 1, this is hard. I'm not just saying it. I want to keep the same culture. It gets harder as it grows, but I'm trying as hard as I can to make the newest wipeout feel welcome. That's a goal for me. Number 2, I want to make it to the top 5 in the world. So we made it to the top 10 in the world, but we've been chatting some of the black belts here about, we've got about 20 guys going to the Asian Open, really good guys going to the Worlds. But we want to do as many, maybe taking a massive crew to Sydney Open, maybe, not guaranteed, to try and win that if we can. We want to make it to the top 5 in the world. That would be an amazing achievement. Do you know what I mean? So that's something that we're looking at. I also want to continue to support the affiliates. It's very important to me that you guys are doing well. I don't like eating alone. I've got a big appetite, but I want everyone with me to sit on the table. So if I see you guys are struggling or anyone struggling, I want my affiliates to come up with us. So I think about them a lot too, and I'm a little bit focused on them this coming year as well to try and help them, level up and do well for themselves. Yeah,
It's like so busy.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. Crazy.
Yeah, these Gen Zers are, complaining about, I'm working, 4-hour shift, I'm tired, rah-de-rah.
I don't remember what it feels like. No, dead set to sleep through the night, constantly waking up, checking on my kid constantly. I don't remember what it feels like to have a day where I'm just laying on the couch watching a movie. I don't remember. It's been 15 years. I can't do that. Busy, non-stop. Yeah, so it's good, man. I'll just keep going until I die, I guess. I just won't stop. Just keep pushing. Sometimes you burn. I heard this quote once that I loved. It said, a good man, and I'm not saying that I'm a good man because I'm not, but it said a good man is like a candle. He brings light to everyone else around him, but he melts away as he does it. It's pretty cool. I like that, So you might get tired doing what you're doing, but at least you're benefiting other people,
Is the plan to sort of hand this down, this massive gym AET, like in in another 10, 20 years? Like, what's your plan moving forward? How many more years have you got?
But
This pace.
I can keep going. I think one of the reasons I cut 20 kilos and I'm going to continue is I sort of got to a point where I'm like, man, what am I doing, man? I know why I was eating crap. I get down sometimes, you know, like life's hard. I get a bit down. I don't drink. I don't smoke. So I ate crap. And then I looked in the mirror. I go, what are you doing to yourself? Like, wake up. And I feel better. I feel like I can get on with way less sleep now. And you know what I mean? I just feel better. But I would hand over responsibility in the next 2 or 3 years to somebody that can do it and keep the same culture and drive the ship successfully. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I don't have a thing for power. I when we go to MMA events, Tommy's my student, Tommy Gunn. I just whisper to him, hey, just tell the guy. He's like, no, you go in the cage. I don't want to go in the cage. When I went to the UFC, I said to Mo, I don't want to go in the cage. You go in the cage. I'll just whisper to you if there's anything that I need to. So I've done my thing. I'm happy. I just want to see the team do well. I've tried to pull back a little bit. It does affect the team a bit. I notice it. So I came back in and I just push until, you know, it happens naturally. I'm not going to try and look for it. If it naturally happens and I can take a bit more of a break, I'll do that. But if it doesn't, I'll just keep pushing.
I think it's a very special thing because, like, as you walk around the gym, there's no photo of you. It's not Ninos Damo, jiu-jitsu. There's no, like, your medals, nothing. It's all about the team.
Yeah.
It's really, really important.
Rare in jiu-jitsu.
Because, because you see, like, a lot of jiu-jitsu coaches, owners, you see their photo plastered everywhere. It's all about them. Whereas here, it's not really about you. It's about the coaches, the team, the students.
Michael Tomei and I think Daniel Kovacic from Elevate at one point were talking about trying to get my name on a T-shirt. And I said no. I don't want it to be about me. It's not about me.
Yeah.
Like, it's about yous. It's about everyone. Like, I don't necessarily put in more effort than other people. Tommy Gunn puts his heart in. Greco puts his heart in. These guys come in, Michael Tomei, Vince and Colby, they all put their heart in. So why should I? What about my partners? They're behind the scenes. No one even knows who they are. They put their heart in, man. Like, why should my name be on there? We all put our heads together and we're doing it for the team. And the team's what we want to lift up. And when the team gets lifted up, I get lifted up, you get lifted up, everyone gets lifted up because we're all part of it.
100%.
Yeah.
The only photos you really see is you got Hickson Gracie, a mural of him.
Yeah.
And
George,
yeah. GSP as well.
Yeah.
Which is, I think that's pretty cool for the guys. But I guess most of them probably don't even know who Hickson Gracie is, or maybe even they don't know who GSP is.
Yeah, it's sad. Hickson Gracie's such a legend. You know, a lot of them are like, who is that? Hickson Gracie. Who's that?
Most of them wouldn't know.
That's the sport, but
yeah.
You know, like in 10 years, people are going to be saying that the best guys now are no good. They're no good. No, they get smashed. I know. And then the guys that are winning in 10 years, in 20, will be getting. That's the sport. And I remember when I was young, I was in my 20s and I felt unstoppable. And the older guys wouldn't want to roll, and I'm like, weak. And now I'm that older guy. I'm injured. I'm broken, and often, like, I'll have 3 good weeks of rolling, then 2 weeks where I can't roll.
Yeah,
that's life, brother. You just roll with the punches. You got to try and enjoy every part of the process. My dad, the wisest person I've ever met, is my dad. He said it to me before I got married. He goes, listen, because when you're dating a girl, it's exciting. Enjoy it. He goes, when you get married, it's this new life. Enjoy it. He goes, when you have kids, it's this new beautiful thing. Enjoy that. He goes, then later on, you love each other more, but it's not as fiery and passionate. He goes, but enjoy that. He has learned to enjoy every process. So now I'm not training as much as I used to. You know, I can't train every day, for example, but I coach and I enjoy it. You know what I mean? And you just got to learn to enjoy different parts in different ways. Otherwise, when you stop being a UFC fighter, how are you going to cope with that? You were a UFC fighter and you lost everything. How are you going to enjoy life? You have to learn to enjoy different. My kids were little. I used to love playing with them outside and pretending that I was, you know, Darth Vader and they were Jedis. And we used to play all these games. They don't want to do that anymore.
No.
You know, they're old now. Believe me, I still try. Do you want to go? We can go watch a cartoon. No, Dad. We're 19. No. Okay. But now I take them out for breakfast. It's, you know, I do things that are according to their age, but they still enjoy it, and I still get enjoyment out of my kids in a different way. Does that make sense, guys?
I love that. That's awesome. we better wrap it up. So we've got the class, we've got the Masters class. So those boys raring to go.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, Ninos. Awesome podcast.
Thanks, brother.
Guys, if you enjoy it, make sure you share it around to all your mates, and we'll see you on the next one.
Thanks, guys. See ya.